Chapter 61, Fate-Changing Technique. Lin Jufeng accepted the supplements. He thought for a long time. But he still couldn't figure out who this Miss Hong was. Damn it, how annoying, I just can't remember. In the end, he gave up on trying to guess her identity. Since this Miss Hong clearly had her own motives, she would definitely appear once again. At that time, Lin Jufeng would know who she was. My top priority now is still to make a breakthrough into the next stage. Lin Jufeng's body disappeared in front of the entrance to the cold palace. He resumed his routine of signing in quietly. He signed in every day. Miss Hong's subordinates didn't show up at the cold palace anymore. Miss Hong herself never appeared in front of Lin Jufeng. It was as if this Miss Hong didn't even exist in the first place. Fortunately, Lin Jufeng was never a curious person. If Miss Hong didn't appear, his life wouldn't change at all. He would continue to sign in, cultivating, and making breakthroughs in peace. On this day, Lin Jufeng stood in front of the courtyard gate. His body stood long and straight. He wore a purple coat, and when it was paired with the pink shade of the cherry tree, the scene seemed to be depicted in a painting that had come to life. Meow. The white cat stood on the courtyard wall and watched silently. Today, Lin Jufeng was somewhat depressed. The white cat didn't know what happened. It calculated the time. It seemed that Lin Jufeng would always be depressed on this specific day and month every year. Do men have some kind of mechanism that makes them depressed for a few days every year? The white cat jumped off the courtyard walls and came in front of Lin Jufeng. It wrote and asked, "You're always in a bad mood on this specific day and month every year. Why?" Lin Jufeng glanced at the white cat. Then, he looked at the cherry tree. With his hands behind his back, he replied faintly, "Because today is my younger brother's death anniversary." The white cat looked at Lin Jufeng curiously. It wrote and asked curiously, "You actually have a younger brother?" The white cat had always thought that Lin Jufeng was a loner. "Silly cat, if I don't have a younger brother, why is Emperor Lin Tianyuan calling me uncle then?" Lin Jufeng replied, speechless. The white cat looked vexed. It covered its eyes with its claws and cried at its own stupidity. "How long has your brother been dead?" The white cat changed the subject, not wanting to embarrass itself. Lin Jufeng pointed with his finger and said, "This cherry tree was planted in the courtyard when he passed away. Back then, it was just a sapling. But now, it's already so tall and strong." Lin Jufeng looked sad when he said all of these. In this world, other than the martial path that interested him, there was someone else whom Lin Jufeng held valuable in his heart. It was Emperor Yuan, the Emperor Yuan who had always referred to him as Big Brother. His understanding of Emperor Yuan was even better than Lin Tianyuan. After all, they were born an entire generation apart. Thus, they couldn't communicate with each other that well. It has been about a decade or two since Emperor Yuan died. Lin Jufeng would usually be depressed every year on this specific day and month. But he could usually control his emotions. As long as he didn't think about it, it wouldn't hurt him. But today was different. When Lin Jufeng saw this cherry tree, his thoughts instantly churned and he found it hard to suppress them. This cherry tree was just a sapling when it was planted back then. But today, he realized that it had already grown so big. It was then when it struck him, his younger brother had already died many years ago. Lin Jufeng wasn't in the mood to cultivate today. He turned around and left. "Meow tilde." The white cat immediately called out, "I'm going to see my younger brother. Guard the cold palace well." Lin Jufeng strode out. Meow. The white cat instead followed him closely behind. It leapt onto Lin Jufeng's broad shoulders and curled up. Lin Jufeng didn't mind and he brought the white cat with him to the imperial cemetery. The past emperors of the Yuha God dynasty were buried here. Lin Jufeng's father and Emperor Yuan were buried here too. Lin Jufeng's father's tomb was huge and luxurious. It was built by Emperor Yuan for him back then. When it came to Emperor Yuan's own tomb, although it was also grand, it was really shabby compared to his father's tomb. Lin Jufeng stood in front of Emperor Yuan's tomb. He looked at the various tombs surrounding Emperor Yuan, his thoughts running wild. "I've always been taking care of your son. He was a little reckless and made some mistakes, but I helped him correct them. However, it's a pity that his body can no longer live to a ripe old age." In front of Emperor Yuan's tomb, Lin Jufeng felt guilty. After all, Lin Tianyuan was the person that Emperor Yuan chose. As his uncle, Lin Jufeng said that he would take care of him, but Lin Tianyuan only have about 40 years to live. Your reforms are basically completed. After Lin Tianyuan suffered through that previous setback, he finally knows how to properly manage the Yuha dynasty. You don't have to worry anymore. Today, I noticed that the cherry tree that I planted the year you passed away is now towering and strong. Lin Jufeng was usually so focused on his cultivation that he didn't pay much attention to such things. You've been gone for almost 20 years now. Lin Jufeng stood up straight. He looked at Emperor Yuan's tomb and sighed. As he reminisced, Lin Jufeng talked a lot. He even helped Emperor Yuan clean up his tomb. Finally, he stood in front of the tombstone and bowed deeply. Do you want to sign in before Emperor Yuan's tomb? Lin Jufeng was stunned. He could even sign in here. What kind of powerful and evil place was this? But Lin Jufeng thought that he would be a fool not to sign in, so he still agreed. Sign in successful. Received fate-changing technique. Lin Jufeng was stunned when he saw this. What's this fate-changing technique? Lin Jufeng thought, dumbfounded. Boom. A vast stream of information entered Lin Jufeng's mind. It was instantly absorbed by him. A minute later, Lin Jufeng opened his eyes and looked at Emperor Yuan's tomb in surprise. The fate-changing technique can change the life of a powerful cultivator into that of a weak cultivator, changing one's fate. The introduction was simple, but it revealed a lot of information. Can I exchange someone else's life for a dead person's? Lin Jufeng asked excitedly. If it could be done, the Emperor Yuan that he had always missed could be resurrected. Host has to figure it out on your own, this is not a simple matter. Lin Jufeng smiled. Of course, I know that it's not a simple matter, but it's fine. To let Emperor Yuan see the light of the day again, I will do my best. Lin Jufeng always felt that Emperor Yuan's death was a great pity. Now that there was a sliver of hope for his resurrection, he wanted to give it a try. Forcefully changing one's fate will incur the wrath of the heavens. Lin Jufeng ignored this sentence. He knelt and reached out to wipe the dust on Emperor Yuan's tombstone. Then, he said firmly, "You wait here for your big brother. Big brother will definitely let you wake up to this brilliant world once again, so you can see the new world after that rain." Emperor Yuan was very talented, comparable to the previous Lin Jufeng. Once he was revived, he would definitely stand out in this brand new world. On the day of his resurrection, the Yuha dynasty would no longer need his protection. With this thought in mind, Lin Jufeng stood up. He turned around and walked away in large strides. He wanted to go back and make a breakthrough into the realm beyond the human god realm as soon as possible. He wanted to see for himself what lied beyond the unknown. At the same time, he also wanted to take a closer look at the fate-changing technique. It was absolutely impossible to revive someone who had been dead for almost 20 years without sufficient strength and capability. I want to surpass the immortal treasury stage, Lin Jufeng said firmly to himself. On the journey from the imperial cemetery to the cold palace, Lin Jufeng walked firmly and continuously. Boom! As soon as he entered the cold palace, Lin Jufeng's body trembled. He broke through and arrived at the next stage. He had accumulated and consolidated his cultivation base for so long to the point that the only detail that held him back was a certain regret in his heart. When this regret of his was resolved after this visit to the imperial cemetery, he naturally broke through. He naturally broke through the immortal treasury stage and entered the third stage of the human god realm. Ultimate man. Upon reaching this stage, one would no longer have a mortal body. Hence, they would be an ultimate man. Lin Jufeng returned to the cold palace. He didn't immediately study the intricacies of the ultimate man realm. Instead, he studied the fate-changing technique in detail. In the courtyard filled with bone swords, Lin Jufeng sat quietly as he pondered over a problem. Fate-changing technique. Its name itself made it obvious that it was a heaven-defying technique. But heaven-defying techniques were often accompanied by fatal flaws. It was the same for the fate-changing technique. One could bolster the life of a mortal in exchange for the life of a super powerhouse. The difference between the two must be at least 100-fold. Only then could the prerequisite for the use of the fate-changing technique be satisfied. Yes, this was only the prerequisite. The fate-changing technique also had a demanding requirement for the user. The user must have the ability to travel between the world of the living and the netherworld. The current Lin Jufeng was unable to travel between the world of the living and the netherworld. It's extremely difficult to execute this fate-changing technique. Lin Jufeng sighed. He still had to become stronger, and he also had to prepare a super powerhouse for Emperor Yuan. In addition, these were just the prerequisites. There were still other requirements or ingredients before the fate-changing technique could be utilized. Let's take it slow. In the endless years to come, I will continue to work hard by signing in and cultivating. There is still hope. There will be. Lin Jufeng buried this conundrum into the deep recesses of his mind. But in the future, when he was more powerful than he was today, he would revisit this matter and change Emperor Yuan's fate. After making a breakthrough into the third stage of the human god realm, even Lin Jufeng himself was starting to get scared of his own strength. He had unlocked the true Qi, divine soul, physical body, and Taoist charm immortal treasuries while he was in the immortal treasury stage of the human god realm. According to the ancient records, a cultivator's strength would still be terrifying after arriving at the ultimate man stage despite having only opened a single immortal treasury in the immortal treasury stage. Compared to them, Lin Jufeng had opened the 4 great immortal treasures. Obviously, his strength was already incomprehensible. In the immortal treasury stage, these opened immortal treasuries all had their own duties. They didn't interfere with each other nor interacted with each other. Therefore, no one knew how truly powerful they were. But now that he was in the ultimate man stage and had mastered all 4 of them, he was able to stack them on top of each other. Now, whenever Lin Jufeng used such a method to unleash his strength, the amplification to his power wasn't as simple as adding 4 ones together with their sum representing his resulting might. Instead, they superimposed upon each other to infinity and beyond. Lin Jufeng felt that every time he inhaled the air around him, he was becoming stronger. This feeling of becoming infinitely stronger made Lin Jufeng raise his hand. He tapped the air in front of him out of curiosity. Dong! The void instantly collapsed like a mirror. In the very next moment, Lin Jufeng reached out and repaired the hole in the void, restoring the place to its original state. How terrifying! Witnessing such a scene, the white cat meowed in surprise. Lin Jufeng looked at the white cat. He smiled slightly and said, "You're too weak. You have to make a breakthrough into the human god realm. Otherwise, it would be too easy for me to bully you." The white cat nodded solemnly. Indeed, it was determined to make a breakthrough soon. It couldn't let the distance in strength between it and Lin Jufeng become too far, could it? The white cat no longer said that it wanted to surpass Lin Jufeng. It eventually realized that its wish was too unrealistic. Now, it only wanted its cultivation base to not be so distant from Lin Jufeng's. Meow tilde. Suddenly, the white cat called out and began writing. In the past few days, there have been some changes in the underground palace. Something seems to be manifesting in the depths of the land of extreme negative energy. Lin Jufeng looked at the words written by the white cat and he immediately urged. "Bring me there. Let's take a look." The white cat immediately brought Lin Jufeng into the underground palace. This palace was originally discovered by the Chasing Corpse sect and they treated it as their precious treasure. Unfortunately, after the death of 2 martial sages from the Chasing Corpse sect, they no longer dared to approach it. The palace was moved here by the demon lord back then for some unknown reason. The palace was empty as ever. Lin Jufeng hadn't come down for many years. This was the white cat's lone territory. But this time, it realized that something was amiss. As a result, it retreated and called Lin Jufeng down to take a look. Walking down the passageway, Lin Jufeng once again saw the palace. Lin Jufeng immediately found out that the runes on the surface all over the palace's walls seemed to be a defensive array formation. With his knowledge and formations thanks to the Encyclopedia of Array Formations, he directly opened the array formation and stepped into the palace. The palace might be empty, but it was clean and tidy. The filth that surrounded the place when he last visited was nowhere to be seen. The white cat had obviously moved all the trash out and cleaned up the place. In the middle of the palace, a coffin could be seen. Lin Jufeng came in. He looked around and asked, "Where is the abnormality that you said?" The white cat jumped onto the coffin. It pointed to the bottom of the coffin and began writing. "It's right under this coffin. Whenever night falls, a demonic aura seems to be coming out of it. I can hear people roaring, and sometimes when I fall asleep, I will have dreams of millions of demons crawling out of this coffin." Lin Jufeng looked down. The coffin was clean. He reached out and touched it. Then, he used his spiritual consciousness to scan the coffin. "There's actually a black hole beneath this coffin," Lin Jufeng asked in surprise. With a flick of his finger, a stream of true qi burst forth. It slowly moved the coffin away. Click, click, click. The white cat watched curiously. When it moved halfway, the edge of the black hole could finally be seen. Boom. Boundless demonic energy surged out. It directly engulfed Lin Jufeng and the white cat. Amidst the demonic energy were the wails and shrieks of countless demons. Ha ha ha, it has been 1,500 years. I can finally see the light of day again. That demon last time actually suppressed me for 1,500 years. He really deserves to die. We could have become stronger in this world, but we were suppressed for 1,500 years instead. The scent of this brand new world is so wonderful. I want to kill lots of people. I want to use their blood and life to comfort myself after being suppressed for so many years. All sorts of screams, hideous shrieks and angry roars sounded non-stop. The dense demonic energy scared the white cat so much that its hair stood on end. It curled its back and bared its teeth. Seeing this scene, Lin Jufeng's face turned cold. He directly took a step forward. You lot really behaved atrociously in front of the wrong person. Dong. Lin Jufeng stepped down. In an instant, a boundless might and a thick Dao charm burst forth at once. The combination completely suppressed the demonic aura. The surging demonic energy was completely suppressed. Lin Jufeng's clothes fluttered, his aura was unparalleled, and his eyes were cold. Don't run. Lin Jufeng reached out and grabbed a demon in the black hole. Without caring whether the other party agreed or not, he directly grabbed and dragged him out. Who are you? There's actually a powerhouse like you in this brand new world. You're already at the human god realm. How is this possible? This demon had a strange appearance. His neck was long and he had a head that looked like it would fall off from his shoulders at any moment. Right now, Lin Jufeng was holding his head. His face turned red from the pressure as he looked at Lin Jufeng in horror. Tell me, where are you from? Lin Jufeng asked. We are demons from a demon's den. The demon felt terrible being held by the neck, but he didn't dare to struggle. Under Lin Jufeng's powerful aura, he couldn't resist at all. Thus, he could only answer. Lin Jufeng frowned and asked, what's a demon's den? What's the brand new world? And what's your motive for coming here? A demon's den is just a demon's den. Ours existed since 8,000 years ago. The words, brand new world has a meaning. It means that every era has a cycle, from the beginning to its rise and then to its decline. This is considered the cycle of an era. But when the decline comes, a demon's den will close and wait for the next cycle. And now, it is the beginning of yet again another cycle. Naturally, the seal on our demon's den has been lifted and we are about to come out from it into the world. We tried to come out 1,500 years ago, but the spiritual energy of the world had yet to recover at that time. A brand new world wasn't born yet. As a result, we were easily suppressed by a demonic cultivator. The demon spoke very fast and his words solved Lin Jufeng's doubts. The spiritual energy of the world was similar to all living things. It has a cycle. Akin to that of a ball thrown into the air, the most powerful person should be born at the peak of the spiritual energy cycle. Then, upon its decline, the spiritual energy of the world would sharply decrease in quality. It would then become increasingly difficult for anyone to make a breakthrough in their cultivation. This represented the end of an era. Even if one had terrifying strength, they would still be unable to display it. They could only seal themselves up and wait for the next spiritual energy recovery which signaled the start of an era. A cycle represented the coming and the end of a life. A life for ordinary people was about 100 years. A tree's life could last for thousands of years. Plant life only lasted a single autumn. Different lives had their own different life cycles. This was how the world worked. Why was it that when Lin Jufeng had only just arrived in this world, the most powerful person in the world was only a great grandmaster cultivator? It was impossible for people to find living martial sages at that time. Later on, when the spiritual energy showed signs of recovery, martial sages gradually appeared. But it was only when that rain fell did the world thoroughly change. It was only after that rain did the people found out that a brand new world had arrived. The demons in their demon's den were all waiting for the right opportunity. Unfortunately, they were suppressed by the demon lord 1,500 years ago. The demon lord was one of the last human gods of the previous spiritual energy recovery cycle. Before he died, he discovered that the demons from the demon's dens would be coming out in the distant future. Although he was a demonic cultivator, the demon lord wasn't planning on colluding with them. He directly moved the palace that he had spent his entire life constructing at the center of a prosperous land that gradually became the Yuha god dynasty. Then, he also suppressed the exit of that demon's den. In fact, he even used his own copper coffin to suppress it. The demon lord sure was altruistic. Then, the Chasing Corpse sect found the palace. They wanted to open it up and plunder its treasures. From the beginning till the end, the people of the Chasing Corpse sect had no idea that there was an extremely terrifying demon's den beneath the palace itself. They studied the palace for a long time, but they still couldn't open its doors. As a result, when the Chasing Corpse sect was hunted by the people of the world, they had no choice but to give up this land of extreme negative energy along with its treasures. After that, hundreds of years passed. The Yuha god dynasty was finally founded and they chose the surrounding area to be its imperial capital. The stories about the demon's den, the demon lord, and the Chasing Corpse sect disappeared silently together with the land of extremely negative energy. In the end, the prince of the Yuha god dynasty was deceived into building a palace here. Then, Lady Luck abandoned him and he died of depression soon after. Afterwards, the place became the famous Cold Palace. No one even dared to come here by now. Lin Jufeng mentally sorted out the origins of this land of extreme negative energy. At first, I was puzzled as to why a land of extreme negative energy was born here. Moreover, following that reign, the land of extreme negative energy was also refreshed for signing in. Who created such a place? I finally understand now. It's not the Yuha god dynasty, nor the Chasing Corpse sect, nor is it the demon lord. The land of extremely negative energy was created by the people of the demon's den that the demon lord had sealed. They are the original owners of the land of extremely negative energy. It's just that they chose to seal themselves here after the end of an era. Then, as time passed, I became the owner of this place. Lin Jufeng murmured. The white cat anxiously wrote on the side. Help me ask about the whereabouts of the demon lord. Lin Jufeng immediately asked the demon. The demon that was being held by the neck didn't dare to not answer. He replied almost immediately. I don't know. They all said that the demon lord is dead because he wanted to suppress our demon's den. Even in an era with poor spiritual energy, such endeavor was still a great danger to his life. The white cat meowed and became depressed. It was still thinking about finding the demon lord if the latter was still alive. Powerful man, I've answered everything and I've been honest all this time. Can you let me go? The demon begged in grievance. Back in his era, he had been an infamous demon. But as the era changed, these demons lost the ample support of the world's spiritual energy, so they sealed themselves underground and became trapped in this land of extreme negative energy, waiting for the arrival of a new era. Right now, after spending a long time without properly cultivating, their proficiency in their techniques and abilities had atrophied. Similar to those that spent a long time on their beds, their skills and abilities were currently unusable for them. When I was at my peak, it was easy for me to crush a human god like you to death. You are only able to strut around because I am suppressed and unable to absorb the spiritual energy of the world. Once I'm free and can absorb spiritual energy again, I will definitely cut off your head as soon as I can. The demon cursed in his heart. But on the outside, he was still very obedient. Lin Jufeng pondered for a moment before asking, other than your demon's den here, are there any other self-proclaimed factions? There's way too many. Our demon's den is one of the 18 demonic sects of the previous era. The other 17 demonic sects had also sealed themselves. There are also some Taoist factions, Buddhist factions, rogue cultivators, hidden powerhouses, and so on. They have all sealed themselves and are waiting for the arrival of a new era, the demon said in a matter-of-factly way. In other words, although this world looks like it is a brand new era with everyone standing on the same starting point on the surface, there are countless self-proclaimed powerhouses in private, waiting for the right time to appear. Lin Jufeng pondered before asking. That's right, so you'd better let me go. This way, there will be no grudges between us. Move this coffin away, and we will overturn this palace. Then, our demon's den will be able to reappear in the world, the demon said excitedly. By that time, we will definitely satisfy you in whatever way you want. Lin Jufeng watched as the demon winked at him all the while promising all sorts of benefits. But Lin Jufeng ended up shaking his head in indifference as he said, I have already understood what I wanted to understand. As for you, just stay in the demon's den and stay sealed there. Lin Jufeng directly hurled this demon into the demon's den. No. The demon screamed. He instantly circulated his might. Surging with violent demonic energy, he charged out. It has been too long since he was sealed. He was already numb and tired. He didn't want to stay in the demon's den anymore. He wanted to see this brand new world. Dong. But under Lin Jufeng's foot, the palace trembled a few times. Layers of talismans appeared at the entrance of the demon's den. They intersected with each other and formed a perfect ceiling array formation. The demon directly collided with the ceiling array formation. Blood flowed from its head as it fell into the endless abyss with a tragic cry. Human, just you wait. I will definitely come out and kill you. The demon shouted angrily, its voice echoed far and wide. Lin Jufeng's expression was as calm as ever. He replied, on top of this den is my cold palace. If I let you guys out, wouldn't the cold palace that I've lived in for 30 years be destroyed in your hands? He still had to sign in at the cold palace, he couldn't let them destroy it. Do you want to sign in before a demon's den? Speaking of the devil. Lin Jufeng raised his brows at the timely arrival of the system prompt. But he didn't hesitate as he said decisively, sign in. It was obvious that this was the first time that this demon's den had been exposed to the outside air. After all, the demon lord's coffin and the palace outside the coffin had been blocking this demon's den. There was also a lot of soil surrounding the entrance itself. It would be a miracle if anyone was able to discover it without deliberately looking for it. Lin Jufeng judged that he would receive bountiful rewards for signing in before a place that was discovered for the first time after so many years. Sign in successful. Received demon suppression record cultivation technique. Sign in can be repeated here. As long as you defeat different demons, you can sign in again. Lin Jufeng thought that signing in for a cultivation technique was already good enough. But who would have thought that it would be a place where he could sign in repeatedly? Monster spawner. This term appeared in Lin Jufeng's mind as he had played Minecraft in his previous life. In the eyes of others, this demon's den was an extremely dangerous place that could take anyone's life at any moment. But in Lin Jufeng's eyes, this was just a monster spawner. A monster spawner that he could use to indefinitely solo farm the demons within it. Thanks for listening. The story continues shortly. This was read to you by Erebus.